Hello everyone, this is Dr. Zaidi. Welcome to my YouTube channel ZTube. Today we're going to discuss joint products. So what are joint products? Joint products are two or more products that we can produce from the same input or from the common input. What can be the common input? You can take an example of a crude oil. Now, crude oil can be used to produce gasoline. It can be used to produce diesel. It can be used to produce kerosene oil, and it can be used to produce many other products. Now, so the joint input in this case is crude oil, and then the joint products are two or more products: diesel, gasoline, kerosene oil. So that's the example of the common input and the joint products. Now the split off point is the point in the process at which joint products are recognized as separate products. So if you take the example of crude oil, you're going to extract it and put it in refinery, right? So the cost of extracting crude oil would be the same whether you are going to produce gasoline, whether you're producing a diesel, or whether you're producing a kerosene oil or any other product from it. So at the point in time when you are extracting crude oil, right, and then you're extracting and putting it in the refinery, so you are incurring the same cost. That cost is known as the same cost. So its cost is known as a joint cost, because that is the cost that you're going to incur until the split off point. Once it is in refinery, then it goes to different direction, whether you're producing a gasoline or a kerosene or a diesel or any other product. So then it moves to different categories. But until the point it reaches the refinery, you're going to incur the joint cost. After that joint cost, once you start producing gasoline, kerosene, diesel, or any other product, you're going to incur additional costs. That costs are known as separable costs, because those costs are incurred beyond the split off point. Okay, so in a manufacturing process, whenever you incur a cost that are separate from the other products beyond the split off points, that costs are known as the separable cost. Now, the decision is whether you want to sell the product at an intermediate stage or you want to process it further, right? So you need to think about that, whether your incremental revenue that you're generating from processing it further exceeds the incremental cost. So what it means is that you're going to incur the cost. For example, if you're producing 87 octane gasoline, right? Now, you can produce 87 octane, or you can further refine it and produce 89 octane, and further refine it, produce 91 octane. So let's say you're producing 87 octane gasoline. The cost of producing 87 octane is $100,000, for all the gallons that you are, or barrels you are producing. So it's $100,000. Once you produce $87,000, 87 octane, you can either sell it as an 87 octane gasoline, or you can process it further and sell it as an 89 octane. So if you process further, you need to further refine it, right? Once you clean it further and refine it further, then you're going to incur additional costs. Let's say that you incur additional $5,000 cost refining it further, right? So from 87 octane to 89 octane, you already had $100,000 cost reaching to 87 octane. Then 5,000 additional cost to move from 87 octane to 89 octane. Now, if you are selling your 87 octane at $102,000, which means $2,000 profit, and you can sell your 89 octane for $108,000, then the incremental revenue, which is 108 minus 102, $6,000, is more than incremental cost, which was 100,000 for your 87 and 105 for 89 octane. So it's $5,000. So incremental revenue is $6,000, exceeds incremental cost. So that means it is profitable for you to go further and produce it. However, if you're processing it further, it costs you $5,000, but you can only sell it for $106,000. Means your incremental revenue, 106 minus 102 is $4,000. in incremental cost from $100,000 to $105,000 is $5,000. So your incremental cost is $1,000 more than incremental revenue. Then at every $100,000, you will lose $1,000 if you process it further. So in that case, you will not proceed it. So that's how you can determine whether it's profitable for you to process it further or not. However, you need to consider some subjective aspects too. You cannot just discontinue a product just because it is not profitable. As I said in my other videos, that if it's a complementary product, you may want to continue even if it is giving you a loss, right? If Starbucks is selling a coffee, they also provide you sugar, creamer, and other stuff, even though they don't charge you for that. So they continue using that because that's a complementary product, right? So if the gasoline, is a complementary gasoline products, could be, 87 octane, 89 octane, 91 octane, then you can continue producing that because some cars require to have a higher octane, 89 octane or 91 octane. The high performance cars, they cannot sustain with the 87 octane. So you have to have some subjective consideration. Even if it's not profitable for you, you should be able to producing that. Okay. So now move on to the example. ZT Incorporated manufactures two kinds of teas: decaf, a caffeinated tea, and TDAC, decaffeinated tea. Each batch of ZT processes 10,000 pounds of tea at $10 per pound. Now, ZT has two options: either sell TCAF at $15 per pound or process it further to yield TDAC and sell it at $17 per pound. So if you can see that a decaf is selling at higher price, $17, and the regular at $15, because the regular coffee, when you process it further, you can produce and extract caffeine out of it. Then you can produce decaf. So decaf requires further processing, and the further processing comes with the cost, additional cost. Therefore, when you go in the market, you will see that the decaf coffees, decaf teas are usually slightly more expensive than the regular teas and regular coffees. However, further processing requires additional $20,000 processing costs per batch. In addition, ZT will lose 2% of product due to spills and or evaporation. So because they are processing further, they can lose some of the products that they are producing. For example, when you're producing gasoline, when you refine it from 87 octanes, if you have 100 gallons of gasoline at 87 octane, you may lose some. By the time you make 89 octane, you may lose gasoline due to evaporation, you may lose due to spills or some other reason. So similarly, you're losing product here. 2% of it will be lost. Should Z produce and sell the tea at an intermediate state or process further? So let's see. So example here continues with the solution: benefits from intermediate state, which means selling as a regular coffee or decaf. So revenue is $15 because it's a $15 per pound times 10,000 pounds that they're selling, 10,000 pounds of tea at $10. So $150,000 revenue from TCAF. The cost of processing at intermediate stage is $10 per pound. So this is given here, right? $10. The price was $15. The cost is $10. So you get $100,000 for cost. So you will make $50,000 if you sell it at intermediate state. However, if you process further, you can make more money because you can sell it at $17 instead of $15. So let's see here. So revenue from TDAC. Now it says 10,000 times 0.98 times 17. Why 0.98? Because you will lose 2% of the T. Here it says that in addition, ZT will lose 2% of the product due to spills or evaporation. So you don't have 100% left, 100% of 10,000 pounds. So 100% minus 2% is 98%. So you have 98% of the 10,000 pounds. So that will give you 9,800 pounds times 1,700. So 166,600. And then at intermediate stage or state, you have 10,000 pounds times 10. So now you look at there, here you had 9,800 pounds. Here you have all 10,000 pounds. Why? Because until intermediate state, we didn't lose anything, right? It was same as right here, 10,000 times 10. You are still going to incur $100,000 cost, regardless whether you process further or not. So it stays the same. So this is cost until split off point, okay? Then cost of further processing is 20,000 pounds, $20,000. That's given in the question, additional cost. So when you subtract 120,000 from 66, you get 46,000. So even though the price is $17 and the total revenue is more than the total revenue from TDAC, 166,600 is more than the total revenue from the TCAF, 150,000. It is, you are not going to make more money because the net benefit from intermediate state, 50,000, is more than the net benefit from the further processing, right? There is a $3,400 difference, which is in favor of selling at intermediate state. You will make $50,000 if you sell it. If you process further, you will make only 46,600. Again, you have to look at subjective consideration that yes, you are selling, a caffeinated tea, and in order to sell caffeinated tea, you should have some decaf keys too. So even though if it brings a lot less profitability, you will still have to market it and sell it because that's a complementary product for it. In the differential format, the income statement looks like this. So you have revenue from TDAC, 10,000 minus 200 pounds. So 200 pounds is 2% that you lost. So you're subtracting 2% of 10,000 pounds. So you will get 9,800 times 17, 166,600. And then revenue from TCAF, which is caffeinated, 10,000 times 15, 115,000. So your differential revenue is 16,600, which you can see right here too, 166,600 and 150,000. That's a differential revenue. So, and then you have a differential cost. Differential cost is if you process further, right? If you process further, the TDAC will cost you $20,000. TCAF is not going to cost you anything because you have to just work until a split off point. So 20,000 is the additional cost or differential cost. Subtracted from differential revenue, you will get differential income or differential loss. In this case, it's a differential loss, 3,400 for further processing. You will lose $3,400 if you process it further. So based on quantitative consideration, not process further, based on qualitative consideration, look at it, evaluate, and see, even the loss should be okay if the qualitative consideration requires you to produce. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe my channel for live updates and other videos.